Do you also get that feeling when you're building your plot that you're basically building a conspiracy theory? Today we are talking about draw.io or diagramsnet. What is diagramsnet? What is this program and how it can help in our games? Um, First and foremost, let's hear it from the developers themselves. Diagrams.net, formerly draw.io, is free online diagram software. You can use it as a flowchart maker, network diagram software to create UML online, as an ER diagram tool to design database schema, to build BPMN online, and as a circuit diagram maker, and more. Basically, it tells us that it can do a lot of things. It's a program that is meant for flowcharts, and if you look at their webpage, you will notice that they have a lot of things to offer. They are mainly focused on bigger companies and on creating flowcharts inside companies. So if you ever worked in a corporation, and a bigger corporation, you will probably know that flowcharts and schematics of how things work are extremely important in such places. But it's also important in our games to get things in their proper place. So when you're building your own plot, I always recommend people to build themselves a flowchart. Flowcharts are very useful when you're building a plot for a story, not only for your game, but also for any basically story. Flowcharts are used in normal PC or console games where you have dialogue options. Flowcharts are basically present in every single place that you can imagine when it comes to modern modern economy and modern creative stage. You basically always will find that flowcharts are a necessity, and it's not obvious when it comes to our games, especially when you look at this over here. You will notice that most of these things actually we wouldn't care about them, because why should we? But just to wrap up the basics that I usually talk about when I talk about programs in the tech builds, what do they say about themselves? We are disrupting the industry with a new business model that makes reasonable profits to pay a dedicated professional software team, but doesn't use artificial scarcity to produce a bloated sales-centric company with matching revenues. Our mission statement is to provide free, high-quality diagramming software for everyone. So the program is free and can be used either as an app or online. This is very important for me. I prefer to use the app version, and I will show you the app version in a minute or two. But you also can use it online. You don't need to download any program, and you don't need to buy anything. You can basically just jump on their webpage and do the same things that you will see in a minute when I run the app on my computer. What is even better, you can create the flowcharts with other people. So if you are in creative business and you're, for example, creating an adventure or something like that with other authors, you might want to check this tool out, as it will allow you to create flowcharts with other people if you integrate it with your Google account. So now let's see some example use cases. As you imagine, this goes on and on. This is a 5-minute just scroll through their blog webpage. It's not exactly as important for us today. So let's check Draw.io. As mentioned, this is my app version. I downloaded it to my computer. This is not online tool. The online tool is extremely similar. I think actually it's the same, if not similar. And this is how it looks like. Also, please take into account that I have the dark theme enabled. Usually you will get a white theme, which is harsh for my eyes. So I always take the night version or the dark version when I can. Okay, so this is how it looks like. It's basically very simple. You get the basic options over here: the file, edit, view, arrange, extras, and so on. The extras allows you to add plugins. So this is what I'm showing you today, is just the basics of the program and what it can do. There's a million more things that you can do with it, but we're going to just see the basic stuff over here. If I would like to start my flowchart, I would add just a box by clicking somewhere over here, and the shapes of the boxes that you can add are basically unlimited. You can add different shapes, like stuff like this, for example. I don't think I ever used it, but you could do that. There's also something called more shapes over here. Just I think I'm somewhere over here. It would be orange in my case button, and over here you can see all the different shapes that you could choose. So for example, for floor plans, for architects, or for some other perhaps safety measures or something like that. If you're familiar with Amazon analytics and stuff like that, there's also icons for this. So there's a lot of things that you can use over here. We're not caring about that at all today. So I added my basic shape, and let's say this is plot point 1. Now, if I would like to add a similar shape, I could just copy this or just change that to plot point 2. I could push the button over here, add plot point 3. You can notice that already I have this arrow over here. Now, what is cool is that you can move the shapes and you can just pick a point and connect it with something different. Now, okay, but how does this help us with our games? I took the liberty and I created some pre-rolled some random NPCs and some random events, and we will build a poor D&D plot or fantasy plot using these blocks over here. So I used the fantasy name generator and some other things that are to our disposition, and I got what you can see in front of you. I have 4 players, or 4 PCs. I will change their color to greenish. Oh, sorry, this one, not this one. I will change the color to greenish so I can easily establish that they are they. Got 3 bandits. Let's make them reddish. I have a hag, make her also reddish. You'll also be the baddies. A unicorn. Got a pixie. Let's make it also blue. These folks over here are the family members, and so on. I hope you start to get the idea of how this can work. Usually, what is important, I always emphasize this, our PCs should be in the middle of our plots. So let's put the NPCs in the middle of a new sheet. Now, if I drag any block, a new sheet will appear out of the blue. So it just happens by itself. I can drag the family members of my ranger, Rinja Leoren, over here, and let's just add some lines so we know who is who. Now, as mentioned, this will be a very poor plot or very poor diagram, but I just want to give you an idea of how you can work with it. Now let's take the other family, put it over here, and over here actually. And you can also do it in a different way. You can drag from the same point so the lines overlap over here, and this also creates a nice visual effect. 2 more families to go. The fighter over here, you will notice that they don't have any names. I rolled for a giant name, thinking about Goliath actually, but the fantasy name generator that I used didn't have Goliath names, a Goliath name option. So there's that. Now, if I would like to use not a different color or a different shape, I could have obviously used the different shape earlier, but if I'm not satisfied with the shape, I could just grab the shape over here and drag it over one of the already created shapes, and it just changes. Now, if you would be wondering how this works exactly, it's basically this is basically a CSS sheet. So if you know anything in basic programming, front-end programming skills, this would be exactly that. Okay, we have the basic families over here. Don't look pretty probably, but let's not care about that today. No, let's care about it. Can't just leave it like that. If you wouldn't be satisfied with the straight lines over here, you could just pick the lines and change the line from sharp to, for example, rounded, and you will get a nice rounded shape over here. Okay, so we got our family set up. We have our evildoers over here. We have a couple of dryads. We have a unicorn, a pixie, a hag, and a dragon. We also have locations over here. I have a volcano, a shop, and 2 types of woods, and a city. Okay, so let's say that the hag lives in the whispering... No, she lives in the wicked Mucklewood. Okay, and let's say that one of the family members, let's say it's going to be Otarion Leoren, suffered tragedy. And where did he suffer it? or she in the wicked Mucklewood. Okay, what tragedy was it? They lost everything. We don't know exactly what that means right now, but that's not the problem for us. We're just building some basic types of plots over here. They lost everything, and let's leave it like that. One of our PCs might be wanting to escape the authorities. Let's say Sangor Drakpa is escaping the authorities. Why? Because they are falsely accused. Now, I would like to remind you that I didn't create these entries, picking them or cherry picking them. I just used some random generators. So yeah. Okay, let's say that Corbus is searching for a family member, and let's say that Aufmir fought in the war as a Goliath. I know this might look awkward what I'm doing right now, but you will see what I want to do in a minute or two. Okay, who would be working for the baddies? Let's say that Amanda is missing. And since I don't want to add a box over here, I will add this to the line. I will just double click over here and I would do missing. The family is missing Amanda Bofen. So Corbus Bofen, who is searching for the family member, wants to find Amanda. But Amanda is working for the baddies. Now, since we already have some baddies over here, we have the 3 bandits. So we'll make it so that Amanda is working for the bandits. Now I want to have a bigger box over here. So I'll just do it like this. I'll right click and send this to the back. And what I have now is a general box for these 3. Okay, and these 3 would be right now hired by the hag, and they would be hired by the hag to retrieve the sly unicorn from the Whispering Woods. Now, I would like to also remind you that I'm figuring this on the spot, so it's not the cleanest that you'll get. But already I'm starting to connect players with each other. So I'm getting this overarching plot where there's a hag that hires 3 bandits to fetch the unicorn Sly from the Whispering Woods. And I got one of the family members involved over here. I got this Sangor Drakpa sorcerer who is not yet in any way connected. We will say that he was maybe he or she touched by the Fae. And as touched by the Fae, they were contacted by the pixie, Twig, Pustifly. Well, that's what you get for generating random names. The pixie was asked by the 2 dryads to fetch help in finding the missing now unicorn. And we got the fighter to tie into our plot over here. What do I got? Maybe we'll give this player magic object. We'll change the inherited to found a magic object. Maybe it's a war trophy. And magic object would be something from our last important layer over here, the dragon. Maybe it would be a horn of the dragon or some other thing that the dragon either wants, or maybe it's something that allows the dragon to whisper to the player. It could also be the object that this player is being searched for. So we already have this, and this. Okay, the dragon lives in the Sanguine Vertex. Okay. We have the missing, we have the Curiosity Shop. And I don't know if we're going to add this, actually. Oh, this is good. And here's the deal. The fighter, because he found the trophy, is now he is now carrying a disease. And to understand or to undo the disease, he will have to use, he will go to Amberstrand, sorry. We will go to Amberstrand. Oh, actually, I'll connect this to the disease. We'll go to Amberstrand to a bookstore that is a bookworm store, which is a curiosity store, which is run by our sorcerer's parents. Okay, it took me roughly 9 minutes, but I already have a big plot, which is basically something that is ready to use for a mini adventure. And this is how I use my flowcharts and how I create diagrams. Now, is this the most efficient way? Not sure about that. Is it a fun way to do it? I'm rather sure about that, especially if you need your things to be systemized or in any way categorized. Don't try to stick to the flowcharts as they are, because players usually figure things out on their own. But this is a great way on how to start figuring your plot out. Just put in the things that you need and see how it works out and what can be connected to what. Don't try to connect everything with everything. Don't do exactly the thing that I did over here, because you might get overloaded by the sheer intention to play everything out. You don't need that. You can just look how your players go and try to connect things on the way as the game proceeds. So what makes it useful for a GM? Well, especially for me and for people that need things that are systematic, this is a way to do it. What integrations can you find? Well, you can use OneDrive, you can use Google, Confluence, Jira, and around 15 other programs with Draw.io. Although, honestly, I don't use any of the integrations. I just use the app alone and export the ready schematics or diagrams to a PNG or PDF file, and I just save it for later. Is it trustworthy? Absolutely. And what are the perspectives of using Draw.io? Well, I imagine they will go towards a broader integration, although that's not something that would in any way concern us. I don't think that programs like these would try to focus on story writers. There are many programs that could help you. This is one of the many. I think I will probably talk about new programs later during or other programs later during this playlist, but this is my go-to when it comes to flowcharts. Okay, so that is all for today. I hope you liked it. If so, subscribe, like, and so on and so on, and I'll see you around. Bye.